The story kicks off with a car crash where someone yells to call for an ambulance. Suddenly, our boy jolts awake, as if he just snapped out of a nightmare. Then, an announcer's voice comes over the intercom, declaring the train's arrival at the terminal station. Our protagonist glances at his hand and wonders if maybe, just maybe, he kicked the bucket. Just then, a hand touches his shoulder, and a woman's voice calls out to him. The girl asks if he could give her a hand with her luggage. When he turns around, he's stunned to see the woman and instantly recognizes her. Our hero wonders how she got so young and notices her clothes are from her freshman year. He just keeps staring at the girl up close and personal. Catching his reflection in the train window, he realizes it's not just her who's younger. Our protagonist sees his 19-year-old self and is completely blown away. He then starts to sarcastically question if, by some miracle, he's been reborn. Finally, his fragmented memories start to piece themselves back together. A memory flashes in his mind of a girl asking him to take her home. In his memory, the woman said she wasn't afraid, even if he tried to pull something on her. All of a sudden, a woman with black hair appears, yelling his name furiously. He quickly spots the enraged girl storming toward them. The woman grabs him by the collar of his shirt and asks if this is the type of girl he's into now. Our boy slaps her hand away to push her off. The other woman says her ex now likes them a bit younger and rubs up against him while calling the other one auntie. The black-haired woman gets livid and demands to know who she's calling an auntie. She lunges at the other girl. The young woman tries to defend herself, but ends up with her top pulled down in the scuffle. The younger one shoves the protagonist its ex-wife. She loses her balance and tumbles into the street, right into the path of the infamous truck, Kun. Our hero screams for her to watch out. He manages to grab her hand, but it's already too late. With no other choice, he pulls his ex-wife into an embrace, thinking he owed her his life, and just like that, they met their end. Back in reality, a pouting Jung Yanyan asks if he's done staring at her yet. Our boy snaps out of it and apologizes, saying he was just lost in thought. The announcer repeats that the train is now arriving at the station. But Jung Yanyan gets startled and loses her footing, and she ends up falling right on top of our boy, with her huge balloons on full display. Our hero is a little flustered by the unexpected situation. The huge balloons make a lovely soft sound as they bounce. She quickly scrambles to her feet, completely embarrassed. After that awkward moment, our boy plays it cool and says he'll help her with her luggage. They walk side by side, with her looking super embarrassed. Jung Yanyan warns him not to tell a soul about what happened, or he's toast. Our protagonist thinks to himself that she's still as reckless and energetic as he remembers. And with that, he arrives at Jinling University. He remembers that at 18 he had big ambitions, but fate had other plans for him. But now that he's been reborn, he vows to become great and powerful to forge his glory once again. Just then, a girl approaches him and asks if he's here to register. He looks at the girl and recognizes her as Chen Wan. Our protagonist remembers the upperclassman Chen Wan and how beautiful she was. Elsewhere, the protagonist's wife also wakes up with a start. She looks around and wonders if this is her old bedroom. She notices that something feels off. She then rushes to the mirror and is shocked by her own reflection. The girl realizes she's been reborn and is completely stunned. With a smile, the upperclassman introduces herself as Chen Wan and offers to help Zhou Yuan. Our protagonist's attention is drawn to a specific mole on Chen Wan. He then remembers that this was the very mole that made him fall for her scam in his past life. Our boy takes the flyer from her hand while calling her upperclassman. Zhou Yuan mentions that this kind of sales pitch is a bit outdated, which leaves her surprised. Chen Wan is shocked by the freshman's audacity and asks what he just said. Our protagonist offers to promote the flyers for her, and she can keep the commission. The girl is taken aback and asks if he's serious, thinking she could use this kid to push the product to the other freshmen. So, she hands the flyers over to our protagonist and tells him to do his best. Chen Wan says she'll check on his results later and waves goodbye. Our hero thinks that in his past life, she was super nice and even walked him all the way to his dorm. Soon, he arrives at his dorm building and hears someone complaining about the school. With that, our boy slowly opens the door to his room. And inside, he sees a guy with red hair complaining about life. The guy quickly walks over to the protagonist. He introduces himself as Chang Hao and says he was waiting for Zhou Yuan to show up so the dorm would be complete. They introduce themselves. Chang Hao is surprised to learn they're both from the same city. His new roommate says he made plans to play cards with some girls and shows him a picture of Zheng Yanyan. Chang Hao invites Zhou Yuan to come along, but our hero turns him down. Then, another roommate chimes in and says he'll go with him to meet this Zheng Yanyan. The guy tells our boy not to get jealous when he's hanging out with the girls. Hearing this, our protagonist thinks that he has no time for card games right now. Our hero puts on his glasses and says that the most important thing right now is making money. Our boy then finds two lost girls and offers them a hand. They're charmed by the handsome upperclassman and accept his help. Our boy asks which dorm they're in so he can help with their bags. He uses the opportunity to pitch the campus data plan. The girls are interested in the offer, and one of them asks for the upperclassman's contact info. The other one asks why she needs his contact when the number is on the flyer. Her friend replies that with an upperclassman this cute, it's good to have his number for the future. With that, our boy agrees to give them his contact, and they exchange numbers. As they're talking, two women approach them. The younger one asks if they are also heading to dorm A9. Our protagonist recognizes the girl as Shen Yu. He confirms he can take them there, and Shen Yu's mother thanks him. Then her mom remarks that the campus card seems useful and tells Zhou Yuan to add her contact. The woman insists on adding our boy's contact so he can look out for her daughter at school. Our protagonist offers to carry their bags up to room 503. Shen Yu gets curious and asks how the upperclassman knew her room number. Our hero plays it off, saying he overheard them talking, all while thinking he said too much out of habit from his past life. He then realizes he needs to find a way to make some quick cash. Meanwhile, somewhere else, the girls wonder who that kind upperclassman was. A moment later, a student walks up to our boy and asks why the number on the flyer is crossed out. Our protagonist explains it was a printing error, and the correct number is written next to it. The girl thanks him, says she'll contact him later, and walks away. Soon after, a guy runs up excitedly, saying all the flyers have been handed out. Our boy smiles, thinking it was worth it to post in the school's group chat. Earlier, he had sent a message in the group offering the campus data plan. Our protagonist then starts replying to messages from interested people. He explains to a classmate that the price is $130 to resell at $150, making a $20 commission per order. And you also earn from the sales of your referrals. Our hero praises his classmate Lu Shou's efficiency, while the guy compliments his connections. Just then, a girl approaches and asks if she can also earn a commission. Shuo is shocked to see Li Shiking, the future pretty diplomat. The girl asks again if the commission is really 20 per person. Our boy confirms it and makes her a better offer. If she brings in 30 people today, he'll make her the general campus agent with a commission of 30 per person. Li Shiking's eyes light up with dollar signs when she hears the proposal. Excited, Li Shiking seals the deal, saying she'll send the list over later. He then thinks that this is a huge opportunity and that his university life is getting interesting. Is completely baffled to see our protagonist close a deal so quickly. In the girls' dorm, the protagonist's ex-wife calls him, but the number doesn't exist yet. Suddenly, her friend Zheng Yanyan calls her over for a card game at the coffee shop. Wife accepts the invitation right away. Zheng Yanyan is surprised and wonders if she's always this easygoing, as she seemed more aloof before. The protagonist's wife replies that she was just bored in her room and that she'll just touch up her makeup before they head out. Her friend notices how happy she is and asks if her boyfriend will be there. She gets all flustered and replies that he's not her boyfriend yet. She thinks to herself that he's her future husband. A little while later, the two are sitting and waiting at the coffee shop. At that moment, our boy's roommates arrive and ask for Zheng Yanyan. Excited, she turns around thinking it was the protagonist. But her face falls when she realizes it's not him. She gets frustrated and asks why it's them and where Zhou Yuan is. Chang Hao replies that our protagonist had something to do and couldn't make it. She's surprised and wonders how this is possible. Maybe it's the butterfly effect of her rebirth. Yanyan teases her, saying she got stood up but quickly corrects herself, saying maybe he's just busy. The ex-wife thinks about how she called an invalid number, but figures something might have changed in this life. One of the guys tries to smooth things over and invites her to play cards, but she doesn't seem very enthusiastic. Elsewhere, our protagonist arrives at a store. A friendly employee greets him and asks how she can help. Our hero asks for the store manager, as they had an appointment to discuss a deal. The woman then leads him to the manager's office. She's impressed by our boy's strong presence. Despite him being so young, he arrives at a door with an office sign on it. The manager asks if he's the young man who wants to be their agent and says he's got a lot of nerve. Our protagonist shows her a list with 247 interested new students and says this is just the beginning. The woman is impressed by the sales volume in just a few days. Our boy says that for the 150 plan, the best he can get is a $70 discount, but he wants 80. The manager agrees to the discount and compliments his boldness. Our protagonist then asks for the agency rights for the entire district with a 60% commission and a 30% advance. She gets closer to him and asks if he's trying to take the whole cake and what his base cost is. Our protagonist says his family is in this business, so she can't hide anything from him and guarantees he'll capture 40% of the market. The woman, impressed by the young man's ambition, closes the deal and says the merchandise will be delivered at the agreed upon time and place. He then asks if they can sign the contract now, and she readily agrees, calling him Boss Liu. The manager is left pondering, noticing that our hero's mind is far deeper than that of an 18-year-old, and his composure is rare. While signing the contract, our boy asks her one more thing. He then remembers that her store also offers Apple phones on contract. Back at the coffee shop, the protagonist's ex-wife is playing a round of cards. One of the protagonist's friends complains that she played a 9 by itself, handing the victory to their opponent. The other one tries to calm the situation and tells his friend to teach her how to play. The guy refuses, saying it's obvious she and our hero are a couple and that there's nothing for him to teach her. The ex-wife apologizes, saying she's not good at the game, and heads to the restroom. She then steps away from the group. She wonders why Zhou Yuan didn't show up and why everything is so different from her past life. She then tries calling him again, hoping the call will go through this time. On the other side of town, our protagonist leaves the store with a new phone, thinking how lucky he got that the number is the same as in his past life. Suddenly, his phone rings, and he wonders who's calling since he hasn't given his number to anyone yet. Our hero answers and asks who it is, finding the number weirdly familiar. Annoyed by the silence, he warns that he's going to hang up if the person doesn't say something. On the other end of the line, Su Qing's voice shouts that he needs to write novels because they're going to be a huge hit, but our boy hangs up right in her face. Su Qing is stunned that he hung up. She wonders why he would hang up on her like that. Then the girl remembers that at this time, Jo Yuen is only 19 and doesn't even know her yet. Embarrassed, she thinks that a development plan seems like a good idea. Our protagonist freaks out, realizing his rebirth was a buy one, get one free deal. He decides there's no way he can let Suqing find out he was reborn too. The ex-wife and Jung Yin are walking with our hero's roommates when one of them gets the bright idea to go spy on the men's dorm. Hearing the word dorm, the ex-wife stops in her tracks, looking like she just had a light bulb moment. Suqing then announces that since they have a class meeting, she'll just walk them back to their dorm, leaving the guys completely baffled. Jung Yin gets suspicious, wondering if her friend only wants to go to the men's dorm to find Jo Yuan. Meanwhile, the other roommate is whining to Chang Hao, super jealous that our boy has a gorgeous girl thinking about him. Suqing asks Jung Yin if she thinks Chang Hao is into her, but she brushes it off, saying she prefers more mature guys. With that, they keep on walking toward the university dorms. Suddenly, the ex-wife spots someone in the distance and freezes on the spot. Huge smile spreads across her face as she excitedly calls out for Jo Yuan, completely surprising her friend Jung Yin. Our protagonist turns around and yup, the girl's suspicions were right. It was really him standing there. Our hero is completely floored, totally panicking as he realizes it's her, standing right there in front of him. Jung Yin's jaw drops when she finds out that this guy is the famous Jo Yuan her friend wouldn't shut up about. Suqing quickly closes the distance, but our boy plays dumb and asks who she is. She formally introduces herself, reminding him they were in the same class, and our hero can't help but think how beautiful she was in his past life. Watching the scene unfold, Jung Yin thinks the vibe between them is super weird. It doesn't feel like a couple's quarrel, but something else entirely. Our MC is totally confused by her vibe and asks if she's hitting on him, and she suggests they should get to know each other all over again. With a determined look, the ex-wife thinks to herself that this time, it's her turn to chase after him and win him over. Our hero cuts her off, though saying he already likes someone else, all while thinking, I'm not falling for that again. Suqing's smile vanishes in an instant, and she looks completely and utterly shocked. She asks in disbelief if he really likes someone, and our boy sarcastically shoots back, is it that weird for me to like someone? Our guy starts describing the girl he saw, but Suqing abruptly cuts him off and tells him to zip it. She's absolutely fuming, thinking to herself that he must have fallen for her at first sight. She vows that he'll be hers in this life, and the next. Just then, Jung Yin walks up to Jo Yuan with a smile and greets him, saying they've met again. Our protagonist, totally psyched, suggests they exchange contact info, leaving both girls stunned by his forwardness. Suqing is shocked when she sees his phone, thinking something is off because he seems way more capable than before. Our MC's ex-wife puts on a smile and agrees to add his contact, since they're classmates and all. Seeing how things are going, our hero thinks to himself that the trouble has finally started, and he needs to find a way out. Jung Yin jumps in, suggesting it's better if they don't add each other right now and maybe wait for another time. Right on cue, a roommate comes over and tells our boy about a class meeting at 7 in the evening. Jo Yuan uses the meeting as the perfect excuse, grabs his friends, and bolts, thanking his lucky stars for being saved from that mess. In the classroom, the students are gathered for the class meeting his friend mentioned. Meanwhile, Chang Hao and his buddy are gossiping about the girls in the class. One of them points to a girl and asks for the other's opinion. The redhead's buddy scoffs at that choice and points to Jung Yin, but Chang Hao just roasts him, saying she's got toothpick legs. Our protagonist's roommate keeps teasing his friend, saying he clearly has no taste. Then, we see a pink-haired girl who's grabbing everyone's attention in the room. The redhead's friend tries to defend himself, but Chang Hao just says the girl is way too skinny and looks like she needs a good meal. Away from the gossip, our boy is all business, sending a text to his partner, praising her efficiency. At that moment, everyone's attention shifts to the front of the room as the professor finally arrives for the meeting. The advisor introduces himself as Yu Changjin and announces they need to elect a temporary class president. Hearing this, our protagonist gets lost in thought, trying to remember who was the class president in his past life. Then, the pink-haired girl from before, named Gu Yoyao, nominates herself for president, and all the guys in the class are instantly smitten by her beauty. A guy named Jiang Cho nominates himself and uses the chance to ask Gu Yoyao if she has a boyfriend. Our hero's friends think the guy is a total clown, so another student stands up to run against him. Out of nowhere, our protagonist cuts the election short and introduces himself as the general agent for the campus SIM cards. The other students are floored by his offer and the price of the plan, which is way cheaper than the school's. The professor is completely blindsided by our protagonist's move right in the middle of his class. On that note, he offers one of the flyers to the professor. Our hero then explains that the plan is great for research, and the professor agrees that it's a fantastic deal. With that, Jo Yuan continues his pitch, saying the internet fee becomes dirt cheap for a dorm of 4. The advisor is seriously impressed, thinking that if our boy becomes president, he can just kick back and relax for 4 years. A student asks about the commission, and our protagonist offers a generous amount but asks for a vote in return. Seeing the generous offer, the other students get hyped and decide to vote for him for class president. And just like that, Jo Yuan is elected temporary president with the pink-haired girl Gu Yoyao as his vice president. Gu Yoyao approaches our hero, saying she also wants to buy one of his cards. She then says with a smile that she came to support his business and asks if he's not going to welcome her. Our protagonist gets a little flustered and tries to change the subject, thinking she's trying to flirt with him. Just then, another girl comes up all excited, saying she got 5 more people and asks for her commission. Seeing the situation, the pink-haired girl simply places her ID on the table to sign up. She leans in close to him and whispers that the price for ignoring her will be much higher than the data plan. With a sly grin, Gyoyo remarks that he dared to ignore her, and now he's in for it. In the showers, a friend asks if Jo Yuan isn't going to make a move on one of the cute girls who bought his cards. At this, our protagonist comments that he never knew his friend was such a player. Chang Hao then brags that a real man needs to be a ladies' man to have any worth. But his other friend teases him, reminding him that he was just talking about wanting a pure romance, and the redhead tries to justify himself. Suddenly, one of the guys notices a weird, really strong smell coming from one of the showers. They figure out where the smell is coming from and make fun of their roommate for having such a peculiar hobby. Our hero then breaks up the fun and explains that it's just the smell of Photinia flowers. His friends are amazed by his knowledge and ask how he knows so much about that stuff. Coming out of the shower, Jo Yuan reveals a muscular physique, leaving his red-haired friend in complete shock. The redhead then complains that his own body looks like a plucked chicken because he's so scrawny. Our protagonist gives him a few workout tips and says he's heading out, telling the others to hurry up. Desperate, the two still showering yell for our hero to wait for them. Once they're dressed, they chat about the military training uniforms they have to pick up tomorrow. As they're walking, the friends decide to buy cards from him, even though Jo Yuan offered his for free. Our protagonist is surprised, realizing that now 3 out of his 4 roommates want to buy a card. One of the friends suggests a group buy and asks for a friends and family discount $9.90 for unlimited data. Chang Hao thinks the price is ridiculous, but his roommate defends the idea, saying Jo Yuan can surely get them a discount. All of a sudden, Chen Wan, the upperclassman who was selling plans, shows up and greets our hero. The roommate's jaws hit the floor, wondering why she just called him an upperclassman. The girl complains that he didn't reply to her texts, but our protagonist apologizes, saying he was busy. With a smile, our boy tells her to go dry her hair so she doesn't get sick and to pick up her card tomorrow. The upperclassman is completely charmed by his kindness. She then thanks him for his concern, says goodbye, and walks away, happily waving at him. His friends immediately crowd around him, shocked, and demand to know what his deal is with that girl, but Jo Yuan just plays it cool. Our protagonist tries to change the subject and rushes the guys to get back to the dorm. On the way, he runs into a few more girls who also greet him. The roommates are, once again, completely dumbfounded by their friend's sudden popularity. They start whispering that Jo Yuan might be some kind of big shot in disguise and decide to interrogate him back in the room. Our hero notices the suspicious looks from his friends. Back at the dorm, the 3 roommates corner him and demand that he spill the beans. Under pressure, Jo Yuan makes up a story about having a twin brother who's an upperclassman at the university to throw them off. His friends are totally stunned by the revelation and are skeptical, wondering if he's pulling their leg. They start to believe it though, commenting that with a brother like that, he'll have no trouble finding a girlfriend. Just then, our hero's phone rings and the caller ID shows a call from Li Shiki. Our protagonist answers the call, deep in thought, trying to remember who that is. On the other end of the line, the girl informs him that she's already hit her sales quota of 30 people, leaving him completely surprised. His roommates are gaping, and our hero promises the girl a $200 reward for her great work. He asks how she managed it so quickly, and the girl wants to know if she'll get a company bonus for a new idea she has. So, our guy offers to treat her to a meal as a personal thank you for her help, but the girl surprises everyone and bluntly asks if the dinner can be converted into cold, hard cash. His friends absolutely lose it, cracking up at the sight of the first girl ever to shut down our hero, who just calls her a money grubber. He offers another $200 for the new idea, and she explains she's going to post a cute picture on the university forum. Our protagonist realizes that selling for cheaper could cause problems with other agents and knows he needs to warn her. He agrees to the plan and promises to give her the $200 reward the next day, which gets the girl all excited. With the deal sealed, our protagonist finally hangs up and ends the conversation. His friends immediately pressure Jo Yuan to confess who the girl on the phone was, teasing him about his business cooperation. Our protagonist boasts that he's better looking and better at business, which is why people seek him out for partnerships. He tells everyone to get to bed because it's late, and one roommate asks to be woken up early to help with sales. Later in bed, our hero has a nightmare and remembers his ex-wife telling him he should love her forever. The memory continues with her threatening him in a chilling way, in case he ever dared to mess up. With a crazed look in her eyes, Su-Ching says that if he ever betrayed her, she'd haunt him to the ends of the earth in the next life. That our protagonist wakes up with a jolt, scared and out of breath. He then realizes that the next life is actually real and is confused because he never mistreated his ex-wife. Our boy thinks that his business success and his change in attitude might be making her suspicious. Our hero decides he needs to find a way to test her to confirm if she also reincarnated. The next day, our hero and his roommate are in the classroom organizing the military training uniforms. Just then, Gu Yoyo shows up and greets him, surprised to see him there so early in the morning. Jo Yuan tells her that her timing is perfect, leaving the pink-haired girl a little confused. He then explains that he's short on time and asks her to help distribute the uniforms to the other students in the class. The girl agrees to the favor but says he owes her a meal as payment, and our boy promises he'll pick up the tab. At that, another female student storms over, furiously questioning Gu Yoyo for asking the guy out. Yao smugly replies that he's single, so it's open season for everyone. Her rival then agrees to compete fair and square because she's not giving up on such an amazing and dedicated guy. From a distance, Su-ching watches the scene and finds it all very strange because none of this happened in her past life. Just then Jung-yun appears, calling her name and startling her. Her friend then teases Su-ching, asking if she was just frozen in place watching her future boyfriend in the classroom. Jung-yun is curious about what's so special about our protagonist that he could attract someone like the class president. But our hero's ex-wife ignores the teasing and says they need to focus on handing out the uniforms. Right on cue, a very cheerful Cheng Hao shows up and offers to help Jung-yin, calling her Yanian. She seizes the opportunity and asks about the relationship between Zhou Yuan and Su-ching, but the redhead says he has no idea. Jung-yin gets indignant and defends Su-ching, talking about how incredible she is and how she was even elected class president on top of it all. But Cheng Hao sticks up for his friend, saying Zhou Yuan is just as amazing since he's president and the general agent for the campus SIM cards. The girl is then shocked by the low price of the plan, and the redhead teases her, saying she never bothered to ask before. She then remembers an upperclassman bragging about the profit from the cards and realizes our boy must be making way more. She asks how many people are buying from him, and Cheng Hao says a ton, and that Su-ching should just give up already. Curious about the whole thing, the girl asks for our hero's contact info, but the redhead says she can just buy from him. Jung-yin then shoots him down, asking why she would buy from a middleman when she could get a better price, straight from the source. Meanwhile, Chen-won approaches our protagonist and asks how sales are going, since 20 people have already contacted her. Our hero gets nervous, thinking she hasn't noticed the mistake on the flyer, and asks how much she earns per person. The upperclassman proudly replies that she makes 30 per person, which would be 600 in a single day's work. Our boy then makes a counteroffer, offering her 50 per person if she passes the contacts over to him. Suddenly, a woman in a uniform arrives with her team and complains about the school's location, but our hero calms her down. He asks if her staff has arrived, and the woman explains they're still 10 minutes out from the agreed time. Our protagonist hands her an ID and asks her to process that one first, explaining he's doing a favor for someone. The employee compliments the beauty of the girl in the photo and asks with a smile if she happens to be his girlfriend. Our protagonist jokes with the employee, saying he's just waiting for her to break up with her current boyfriend, and the woman tells him to knock it off. Seeing Chen Wan's confusion, our hero realizes his mistake and decides to reintroduce himself to clear things up. With a confident pose, Zhou Yuan introduces himself as the general agent for the Shanlin University town. He then offers the upperclassman a job working with him, promising a much higher commission. Just then, a guy shows up with a bunch of friends, and our boy asks why he brought so many people with him. The classmate introduces his friends and tells them all to greet Brother Joe, which makes our hero a bit embarrassed. Next, his business partner approaches and says she's secured 22 customers, and our boy praises her for the achievement. The guy starts organizing the line to speed up the service for everyone. The girl also offers to help explain the plans, and our hero is pleased with the teamwork. Suddenly, an older gentleman approaches and curiously asks our protagonist what the long line is all about. Our hero explains he's selling phone cards and offers him a flyer detailing the plan's benefits. He even suggests that 1 card per dorm is enough, and the man seems interested but hesitant about the crowd. Zhou Yuan then reassures the parents that they can come back later and explains that there are 3 different plans available. His friend is blown away by our boy's smooth talking, commenting that he sounds like a seasoned salesman. Our protagonist jokes that life forced him to be this way, since he doesn't have a rich family like his friend does. Chen Wan is seriously impressed with our hero and calculates that with the new commission, she could make 1,500. Just then, our protagonist's partner tries to sell a plan to an older lady but ends up getting rejected. Our boy consoles her, saying that's totally normal, and the girl admits she still has a lot to learn. Zhou Yun then asks the upperclassman if she's made up her mind, and she confirms she's going to call all her contacts. As time goes on, the midday sun starts beating down harder and harder. Seeing everyone's exhaustion, our hero announces a break and says he bought snacks and water for the team. Our protagonist feels like he's on top of the world, celebrating the fortune that's finally rolling in. At that moment, Cheng Hao arrives with Zheng Yin and Su-ching and comments that his friend must be making some serious bank. Our boy plays it down and asks why they all came together, secretly wondering why his ex-wife showed up too. But Zheng Yin cuts him off and asks why he still hasn't accepted her friend request on WeChat, making his ex-wife jealous. Zhou Yuan plays dumb and asks which one of them added him, claiming he was too busy to notice. Seeing this, the ex-wife thinks something is wrong, because the script is different from her past life. Just then, Zheng Yin snatches his phone and asks if it's an iPhone 5S and how much it cost. Our hero tries to get his phone back, but the girl jokes around, asking if the company is handing out iPhones now. With that, the ex-wife confronts him, asking how he became an agent, because this is different from the past. Our boy then questions her back, asking why he can't be the agent, and why she's watching him so closely. She gets annoyed but blushes at his response, asking if he's even from this world. Zheng Yin bursts out laughing, and our protagonist says that his ex-wife's behavior is getting really strange. Zhou Yuan then realizes that she's definitely getting suspicious of the whole situation. Another girl approaches and greets our hero, calling him Senior Joe. He apologizes for deceiving the girl and her mother, but Zheng Yin says he wasn't being honest. Our protagonist bows, asking for forgiveness, and says it was a necessary evil for business. Jung Yun then demands he treat the girl to a meal to apologize, and our hero agrees to pay up after he's done with work. Suddenly, the guy from the line earlier shows up and greets our protagonist. Jo Yuan introduces him as his best friend, Liu Shuo, and the guy is thrilled with the compliment. Chang Hao asks Liu Shuo who our boy is, and the friend replies that he's a classmate from the neighboring university. Liu Shuo introduces our hero's business partner. Watching from afar, Su Qing is in shock, thinking that this girl didn't exist in her past life. All of a sudden, a motorcycle appears, speeding right toward them. Then they come to a screeching halt, causing a huge commotion. With that, a trio of girls appears, and their leader asks if they're the ones selling cards around here. Our protagonist's whole group just watches the situation in silence. Li Shiki then offers her cards for 145, and says she'll do 140 if they buy in bulk. Our hero gets tense, thinking they're here to cause trouble, and wonders if his partner can handle it. His friends start whispering, wondering if the girls are there to pick a fight. The reed head gets ticked off, throws Li Shiki's flyers on the ground, and accuses her of stealing her brother's business. Our boy's partner tries to slip away, saying she's busy, all while thinking she didn't see this competition coming. But the bully doesn't let her go and grabs her arm tightly. Shiki tells the girl to let her go, saying this is just how the market works. Survival of the fittest. The redhead does not like that answer at all and violently shoves our protagonist's partner. Our protagonist catches his partner before she can fall and asks if she's okay. Jo-yeon then steps up, says he's the one in charge, and confronts the redhead. Jung-yeon thinks our boy looks super hot, but Soo-king just says he's only playing the hero. Just then, more motorcycles pull up to the scene, revving their engines to intimidate the group. The redhead's brother finally appears and looks down on them, saying they're just a bunch of newbies. The girl gets all excited and calls her brother over to handle the problem. The guy asks if he's the one named Joe, and our hero confirms it. He claims to be the official agent for the area and complains that our boy is invading his turf with low prices. Our protagonist demands to see a contract and calls him out, saying his sister was the one who started things. His friends agree with our hero, and Li Shiki feels protected by his actions. The rival suggests they settle things the old-fashioned way, since talking isn't working, and our boy questions him. The gang leader seems impressed by our protagonist's nerve. But our hero thinks the guy is just bluffing and doesn't know the first thing about business. The rival then challenges him to a meeting at 8 o'clock at a barbecue stand. Jo-yeon calms his partner down, telling her there's no such thing as turf, and tells her to go help the customers. Jung-yeon compliments our boy's heroic attitude and warns Soo-ching that winning him over won't be easy. At this, Lee's wife notices that his protective nature is identical to his future selves and starts getting really suspicious. Chang Hao then advises Jung-yeon to stay out of our protagonist's messy love life. Soo-ching confronts him and asks if Li Shiki is the girl he said he liked. Our hero then coldly replies that it's none of her business. Jung-yeon tries to cheer up the ex-wife, telling her to relax and that Chang Hao should get a membership card. The redhead immediately agrees and tells our hero to sign everyone up for a plan. The protagonist tells his friends to go on ahead because he's busy and asks Shiki to handle their cards. With a furious look on her face, the ex-wife thinks she needs to plan her next move very carefully. Observing the scene, Shen Yu realizes that Soo-ching has a thing for the upperclassmen, but he doesn't seem interested in her. Our hero asks his friend Liu Shuo how many people he can round up for the showdown. Liu Shuo then hands 3,000 to Jo Yuan, saying his dad gave him the money to cover the bill. He says that youth is for fighting, and since his friend is short on cash, what's his also belongs to Joe. Our hero refuses the money, saying his commission is enough, and tells his friend to call whoever he can. Moved, the guy says that from now on, they're brothers and he'll always have his back. The protagonist gets a little embarrassed by the scene and asks his friend to stop being so mushy. Excited, his friend says he's heading back to school to get some backup for the upcoming brawl. The protagonist then offers to walk Li Shiki back to the university to make sure she's safe. He asks if she counted the money, and the girl confirms that the amount of 1,300 is correct. Jo Yuan takes responsibility for what happened and insists that the girl take the payment money. With tears in her eyes, Li Shiki thinks about how the meal cost a fortune, and that she was the one who should have paid. Getting closer to her, the protagonist jokes that he didn't know the class president was a crier. All embarrassed, the young woman offers to treat him to a meal or even a movie. At that, the girl gets super flustered and tries to explain herself but doesn't even know what to say. With a smile on his face, our hero simply agrees to her proposal. Our hero turns down the food and suggests they see a movie at the festival as an employee bonus. The girl gets all blushy and overjoyed, agreeing that it's a date then. Then the young woman says goodbye and heads to her dorm, telling him to be careful on his way. Alone, the guy thinks that Li Shiki is a good girl, but not for him, and that he needs to make that clear. Arriving at the designated spot, our hero sits down, and a waitress brings him a beer and some peanuts. Just then, his rival shows up furious, accusing him of stealing business and demanding 20,000. But Joe just tells him not to touch the bottle. The bully then asks if the protagonist is trying to act tough. But with a cold gaze, our hero shows that he's not the least bit intimidated by the threat. Without a second thought, Jo Yuan stands up and smashes the bottle over the goon's head. The bully's friends are completely shocked by our hero's move. The protagonist says he tried to be nice, but the guy was a shameless jerk. Liu Shuo arrives with a huge crowd, yelling, "Who dares touch my brother Joe?" The rival gang panics at the arrival of so many unexpected reinforcements. Our hero's friend boasts that when it comes to a fight, he's never been afraid. The rival leader is spooked by the sheer number of people and wonders how a student got tangled up with the mob. He bows, asking for forgiveness, and Joe says he preferred his wild attitude from before. The guy then grabs a bottle and starts chugging the whole thing, saying it was all his fault. Our hero asks if one bottle is enough and reminds him of their talk about settling things with their fists. Desperate, the bully grabs 2 bottles and starts chugging them both at once. Jo Yuan then says his girlfriend was also at fault for not knowing the local rules. The rival agrees, saying his girl was out of line and that they don't need to talk about it anymore. Our hero then offers to compensate for the money from the people who signed up with his partner. But the guy refuses, saying he's graduating and that she can continue her work without any problems. The gang leader confirms that the matter is settled and thanks him. The students that Lu Shou brought are impressed and decide to follow Jo Yun from now on. Our hero then thanks everyone and offers barbecue and beer on his tab to celebrate. The protagonist asks his friend how he managed to gather so many people for the fight. They both agree that organizing a show of force that big was an incredible thing to see. Soon after, a post about the fight goes viral on the school forum, calling Joe the new big boss. In the comments, everyone is shocked and curious about Joe, with some even asking for his contact info. The protagonist's friends ask him about the post, and he denies everything, saying he's going to get it taken down. Annoyed, Jo Yuan thinks this will ruin his reputation and calls the forum administrator. He asks to have the post deleted, but the administrator refuses to do it without knowing who he is. Our hero introduces himself, and the administrator starts shaking in his boots. And he agrees to delete the post right away. In seconds, the post about the fight completely vanishes from the university's forum. The raidhead friend is surprised that the post is gone, and the protagonist breathes a sigh of relief. Suddenly, our hero's phone starts ringing, and Su Qing's name appears on the screen. Joe wonders why she's calling so late, and Chang Hao guesses it's about the forum post. The protagonist then asks his friend if he's lost his mind for telling them everything. Chang Hao defends himself, saying that Zheng Yinyan is his friend and that he tells her everything. Meanwhile, in the girls' dorm, Su Qing is sitting and scrolling through her phone. Her friend then snaps a picture of her legs, wanting to post it on the college forum. The ex-wife is startled when she realizes her roommate is taking pictures of her. She tries to grab Zheng Yinyan's phone to delete the photo, but her friend won't let her at all. Zheng Yinyan playfully asks Shen Yu for help, saying that Su Qing is trying to take her out. Shen Yu manages to separate the two, and Zheng Yinyan changes the subject, asking about Jo Yuan. The girl then asks Shen Yu if she managed to find out anything about the guy. Zheng Yinyan reveals that our hero tricked the freshman Shen Yu to get what he wanted. She then imitates Jo Yuan, pretending to be a third-year college student. Shen Yu explains how strategic he was, using his upperclassman status to get the agency deal. Zheng Yinyan comments that Joe seems like an old fox, not a young guy their age. Lost in thought, the ex-wife starts to suspect that Jo Yuan might have also been reborn, just like her. With that in mind, she decides she needs to find a chance to confront the protagonist. Suddenly, Shen Yu yells for her friends to look at the new post that just went up on the college forum. And she shows her phone with the news of the fight and the reveal of the society's new boss. The friends are shocked to find out that Jo Yuan is the leader of the legendary Zhuhui society. Zheng Yinyan can't believe Zhou is the boss but admits that the picture of him at the fight is intimidating. At this, the ex-wife refuses to believe that Zhou is a gangster because he's supposed to be just a normal student. Zheng Yinyan then realizes that her friend already knew Zhou was a big shot, and that's why she liked him so much. Su Qing gets confused, wondering where it all went wrong and if this world isn't the same as her past one. Her friends look at her, worried by her strange reaction. Zheng Yinyan and Shen Yu get worried about the ex-wife, who is pale and has ice-cold hands. The young woman then decides she needs to confront the protagonist to find out who he really is. She then grabs her phone and calls Jo Yuan, hoping he'll pick up. The protagonist answers the call and the ex-wife asks if he's really Jo Yuan. He says he's busy because he's going to the movies with his girlfriend and hangs up right in her face. The ex-wife is in shock hearing that he has a girlfriend and concludes that he isn't who she thought he was. Her friends are scared by Su Qing's state and ask what Jo Yuan said to her. The ex-wife breaks down in tears in her friend's arms, saying that's not the Joe she knew. Crying, she wonders what the point of her existence is if the man she loved is gone. Her friends try to comfort the girl, saying the school is full of other handsome guys. Devastated, the ex-wife says it was her fault and that she'll probably never get married now. Zheng Yinyan is shocked, and the ex-wife says she'll understand when she truly likes someone. Suddenly, her friend's phone starts buzzing, and she's surprised by the message she received. She then shows the phone to her ex-wife and asks what she would do if Joe didn't have a girlfriend. On the screen, we see her conversation with Chang Hao, where he debunks the rumor about our hero's girlfriend. The friend explains that the girl was having financial trouble, and Joe spent 4,000 to help her out. Shen Yu asks if it was all a misunderstanding, but the ex-wife still thinks the guy is very different. At this, Zheng Yinyan gets annoyed and offers to go confront the protagonist for her friend. She then sends a message to Chang Hao, setting up a meeting and demanding our hero's presence. The redhead is completely shocked when he reads Zheng Yinyan's intimidating message on his phone. He runs desperately to our hero, begging for help. But Joe simply says he's not going and tells her to go cry about it. The redhead tries to convince him, but the protagonist refuses to go, saying he's antisocial, period. At that, the protagonist's friend insists, saying it's just one meal and the dorm's first group activity. The redhead then asks the other roommates for help in convincing our hero to go. With that, the other guys agree and say it would be really cool if they all went together. Our hero then gives in, but on one condition: Chang Hao has to pay his bill. The redhead accepts instantly, thinking he'd do anything to impress Jung Yinyan. But the other friend complains that it's messed up for the redhead to only pay Zhou Yuan's bill. The roommate is outraged by his friend's cheapness and threatens not to go to the meetup anymore. Suddenly, the protagonist's phone starts ringing with a call from his friend Lu Shuo. Our hero answers the call, asking what his friend wants from him. Lu Shuo celebrates that their society has become famous and he is now the official Grand Protector. The protagonist gets annoyed with his friend's nonsense and asks what he really wants. Lu Shuo then brings up a problem with the school's external relations department. He explains that the head of the department is exploiting students for part-time jobs. The friend asks the protagonist for help in resolving the situation, and Joe remembers something. In his past life, upperclassmen would exploit the freshmen, and he couldn't do anything about it. But now, in his new life, our hero has the power to change that situation. He says that the other students listen to Lu Shuo, so why not handle it himself? Our hero explains that the demand for work at wedding events is high, and they can get the contacts. At this, Lu Shuo is shocked by the brilliant idea and wonders how he didn't think of it before. Joe continues the plan, telling him to use his connections and fame to create a mutual aid group for jobs. After that, his friend should go straight to the companies and offer a reliable workforce with no middleman fee. Our hero sets the condition of not charging a commission, and Lu Shuo agrees, saying they're brothers. Joe thinks that the membership cards were just the beginning, and that the Zhuwai society doesn't seem so bad after all. Our main character is in bed when Chang Hao, on the top bunk, excitedly talks about the end of their boot camp, planning to hit a seafood buffet and then a karaoke bar. Our hero just thinks his roommate is a hopeless romantic. With his eyes closed, he tells his friend to stop dreaming about that stuff and get to sleep, because the boot camp training starts first thing in the morning. The redhead leans over the railing and asks what time it is, saying our guy is hitting the hay way too early and that he wants to keep chatting. However, our hero is already fast asleep, and the redhead just watches him, frustrated. Even in his sleep, our hero has a nightmare, his head filled with images of the grueling training. He thinks that maybe he shouldn't have even been reborn if it meant going through this all over again. Chang Hao is dreaming that he's the star at a karaoke bar, with girls cheering him on. He thinks to himself, this is the ideal college life, and that he's way cooler than our guy. Suddenly, the redhead wakes up completely startled and screams, thinking there's an earthquake. Turns out, the cause of the shake up was one of their other roommates, snoring like a chainsaw. The redhead glares angrily at the snoring roommate, thinking to himself that the sound isn't even human and he can't understand how it can be so loud. The school's PA system announces that all freshmen need to put on their military uniforms and assemble on the field. Another roommate wakes up and asks what the snorer is doing. The roommate asks if the snorer didn't get any sleep, and Chang Hao furiously replies that if it weren't for the noise, he wouldn't be such a wreck. Our hero is already dressed in his uniform and says seriously that if they keep messing around, they're going to be late. At that, Chang Hao panics and starts scrambling down from the bunk bed, yelling for his friends to wait for him. The day is sunny, and the bright sunlight shines through the leaves of the trees on campus. Finally, the uniformed freshmen gather on the field in formation. Chang Hao is desperately sprinting to catch up with the student formation on the training field. But the drill instructor stops the redhead in his tracks, yelling for him to halt immediately. Chang Hao scratches his head and gives the instructor an awkward greeting with a forced laugh. The instructor asks where he was when he called for the group to assemble, and the redhead replies that he was on his way. Our hero is in line with the other students and thinks that his roommate better not cause trouble right now. He still has a doctor's note in his hand. The angry instructor tells the kid to speak up, asking if he didn't eat breakfast, and says that when he replies, he must shout, "Reporting, sir." The redhead then yells that he didn't eat because the assembly was at 6:30. The instructor tells the student to knock it off and get in line immediately, and the redhead snaps to attention with a, "Wes, sir." Chang Hao grumbles to our hero, asking why the instructor seems to have it out for him. Our guy just stays quiet. The instructor seems to have overheard, turning to the side and looking even angrier at the kid's attitude. With that, the instructor pulls the roommate out of line and orders him to do 30 minutes of squats as punishment. The terrified redhead begs the instructor to make it just 20 minutes. He even flashes a peace sign with his hands to try and persuade him. The instructor then yells, ordering the roommate to do his squats further away from the formation. Chang Hao runs off, shouting that the instructor got the message. Two girls are also in uniform, and one asks the other if she doesn't feel sorry for Chang Hao getting punished. The other friend gets annoyed, hugs her, and says, "That's just Chang Hao for you." The instructor warns the students not to cause trouble during the training, saying he won't solve any problems for them. He also asks anyone feeling unwell to let him know in advance. Seizing the opportunity, our hero shouts, "Reporting, sir," saying he's feeling unwell and needs medical leave, holding up his doctor's note. The angry instructor calls him a brat and tells him to get lost and head straight to the infirmary, which works out perfectly for our hero. The redhead, Chang Hao, watches this and asks if that actually works, thinking that the protagonist is like an upgraded version of himself. Our hero, meanwhile, thinks that it was all part of his plan. Meanwhile, three girls in the formation see our hero heading to the infirmary and wonder what happened and if he's sick. One of them comments that he's pretty soft for quitting before it even started. At 3 in the afternoon, the sun is beating down on the training field. One of the girls is panting, feeling exhausted, and seems to be feeling sick from the strain of the training. The girl then thinks that the training is genuinely exhausting and that the main character is really clever for dodging this, and that she can't take it anymore. She yells, reporting, "Instructor," saying she has a stomach ache and can't go on. A male student next to her whispers that maybe she's on her period. The instructor then tells her to go rest in the infirmary. The grateful and happy girl heads to the infirmary while Chang Hao, still doing squats, watches her with envy. The redhead then also yells, reporting, saying he also has a stomach ache and needs to use the restroom. The instructor yells back at the redhead that even if he makes a mess in his pants, he's going to stay right there and keep squatting. The entire class bursts out laughing. 5 in the afternoon arrives, and we cut to the infirmary. Our hero opens the door, thinking that after paying the commissions to his sub-agents, over 10,000 yuan came back to his pocket. And when he opens the door, there's the blonde girl who had gone to the infirmary earlier, just chilling. Our hero is surprised and asks if she's Zheng Yanyan. Zheng Yanyan asks what he's doing there and if he's on break. In turn, our hero asks if his fellow patient has recovered from her illness and is ready to go for a stroll. Our protagonist informs her that the training for the day is over and it's time for her to return to the squad. Zheng Yanyan makes a face and thinks that our hero is truly a sly fox. Back on the field, the instructor asks for the redhead's name and tells him to knock it off. Because he knows he was in the wrong, the superior insists on knowing the student's name. Ha salutes and shouts, "Reporting, sir! My name is Chang Hao." The instructor smiles and informs him that for the duration of the training, he will be the platoon leader for Company 4, Platoon 2, which leaves the redhead completely surprised. The sun is setting on the horizon, marking the end of another day of boot camp. Falls and the scene shifts to the men's dorm. Lying in bed, Chang Hao calls someone and excitedly tells them he's been made platoon leader. In the room, our hero thinks that he talked with Lu Shuo today and realized the data plan business is getting saturated. He figures he can probably only get about another 1,000 people to sign up. From that, he'll have to deduct the sub-agent's commissions, and at most, he'll only make another 50,000 yuan. He then wonders what other ways there are to make money besides selling campus data plan cards. Suddenly, his phone buzzes. It's a message from Su King, his ex-wife. Our hero replies, and she asks why he wasn't at the training. He responds that he wasn't feeling well. She then comments that she heard he wasn't even in the infirmary. Our hero replies that he does think he's obligated to report his whereabouts to her. Su King says she didn't mean anything by it. She was just worried, and he ironically thanks her. Our protagonist thinks that in moments like these, he envies girls like Su King with strong practical skills. If it were a reborn Su King here, she'd be selling design drafts for 50,000 each and would probably sell about 10 of them. Our protagonist gets an idea and thinks that, in his past life, he made some good money writing novels. He then sits down at his computer and concludes that this era is perfect because the urban genre is hot right now with little competition in the market. He finishes writing the first chapter of his new novel and thinks, "Don't." Our hero picks up his phone again and thinks that, in this life, he will return to the world of web novels to take back everything that is rightfully his. He has created a book titled Rebirth of a Perfect Life, with a synopsis about a middle-aged man who is reborn back in his college days. In the comments section, one reader says the author is making some bold promises, while others are excited about the theme. On the training field, the redhead Chang Hao is still doing squats and reading a passage from our hero's book on his phone, which mocks the boot camp and calls the redhead today's MVP for being the most hardworking. Half an hour later at the restaurant in Toronto, the group finishes up their meal. Just then, Changa jumps up all hyped and says the party can't stop now because he's treating them to karaoke. With everyone excited to sing, the group of friends heads over to the karaoke spot. Meanwhile, the girls agree to split the bill for the rest of the night since the guys paid for dinner. Arriving at the front desk, an employee approaches and asks for the number of people and if they have a reservation. Shiki then steps up, announcing there are 8 of them and that the ladies will be paying for everything. Changa tries to argue that she doesn't have to, but our hero's business partner insists on covering it. The receptionist looks confused but asks who Mr. Joe is, the one who booked the luxury suite 10 minutes ago. Our MC raises his hand and confirms he's the guy, leaving everyone completely stunned. His roommate completely loses it and declares that from this day forward, our hero is his new adoptive father. The very friendly employee then asks Zhou Yuan and his friends to follow her to the room. As they walk in, their jaws drop at the sight of the place, and Changa even says it looks like paradise. Shiki is super excited and immediately starts snapping pictures, already thinking about the caption she's gonna post online. She then gets closer and asks Zhou Yuan to give her a smile while she takes a picture of him there. Across the room, the other 2 guys are already starting to drink, toasting and vowing not to leave sober. Shiki's friend thanks our hero for paying for everything, but he just says that's what a gentleman does. Our boy asks which song she wants, and the young lady requests a song that he also happens to really like. She gets all excited, saying they have so much in common, and our MC agrees with her. From a distance, Li Shiki watches the 2 of them talking and wonders when they got so close. So she joins them and our hero asks if anyone else wants to pick a song. Our MC turns to ask his other friends and seems a bit lost in thought for a moment. Just then, he turns back and accidentally ends up staring right at Li Shiki, creating a bit of an awkward vibe. The look on our hero's face says it all. He's completely floored by what just happened. He thinks to himself that he felt like he touched something pretty weird, and gets super embarrassed. Turns out, his hand landed in a very particular spot on his business partner's body. Our MC turns beet red and tries to explain himself, but the girl backs him against the wall. With a teasing smirk on her face, she leans in and asks if what he touched felt soft. Changa then breaks the tension, asking them to take the original vocals off the track so he can sing. Totally flustered, our hero agrees and quickly turns to shut off the feature on the screen. But it seems our boy got a little too worked up, so he takes a seat on the couch. Our hero sits on the couch and breathes a sigh of relief while taking a sip of his drink to calm down. Soo King questions him about getting so close to Lee Shiki, but he claims they were just picking out songs. The girl doesn't quite buy it, and with a sour look on her face, says they were way too close for just that. She gets annoyed at herself for even caring about the guy, while our MC just ignores her. Just then, Lee Shiki comes over showing him a picture, saying a friend of hers wants him to be her boyfriend. She gets really close to our boy to show him the picture on her phone. Our hero turns bright red, his eyes wide at the view he gets of the girl. He downs his drink and thinks that being reborn at 18 is awesome, and that anyone would be stirred up by this. Lee Shiki asks why he's drinking alone, and our boy invites her to have a drink with him. Up at the front, Changa realizes the song is a duet and suggests switching to a different version. The girl gets all flustered and agrees that maybe they should change the song. But Jo Yeon stands up and, with a confident smile, says they can sing it together, no problem. Our MC then grabs the microphone and starts to belt out the song with a ton of emotion. His voice blows everyone in the room away, and the girls just stand there, watching his performance. The girl is absolutely mesmerized, thinking that his voice is so good and magnetic. Our hero continues his performance. Then, the young lady joins him in the duet, singing her part of the song with a sweet smile. The two of them sing in perfect harmony, creating a really beautiful and special atmosphere in the room. From the couch, Changa and the other friend go wild and start chanting for the couple to kiss. The performance ends with a score of 97 points, and the girl gets super embarrassed by the chanting. Right after, Jung Yan takes the stage and totally kills at singing a song in Cantonese, getting everyone hyped up. Sitting down, our MC watches everything with a slight smile. The girl from the duet looks at him and thinks that now she understands why Soo King was so hung up on him. But his ex-wife is not happy about this at all and pouts, thinking that he's attracting way too many girls. 3 hours go by and the guys are wiped down the couch, realizing it's already 11 p.m. Our boy then gets up and announces that his singing career is over for the night, and it's time to head out. With the decision made, the group of friends starts to leave the karaoke room. Out in the hallway, the girl compliments Jo Yeon's singing, and he says he's going to settle the bill first. Changa is shocked by his wallet, which is stuffed with cash, and our hero explains it's for business. The group then heads to the front desk to pay the bill and finally go home. Soo King then asks him if he's really not going to write anymore, and he says no, explaining that he wants to be a businessman. Our MC says that if she hadn't chased him for a romance, they could have been good friends. His ex-wife says that she now realizes how conceited he is, and our boy replies that he was just speaking the truth. She then thinks to herself that he hasn't forgotten how to charm the ladies, and that in this new life, he'll be hers. The girl then takes a step forward, getting closer to our hero in a very suggestive way. And to everyone's surprise, she gives Jo Yeon a kiss on the cheek, leaving the guy in total shock. He gets frantic and asks what she's doing since they had agreed to be just friends. With a seductive look, his ex-wife says it was a little encouragement for the future business tycoon. Dorm A9, the girls are settling in. Then, a blonde girl walks in and asks Linlin if she gave her number to Li Qiang and if she has a crush on him. Linlin says she only gave him her number to get him to stop bugging her, but her friend points out that the way he looks at her is anything but innocent. At this, our girl finds the whole thing a drag and says she's done talking because she's going to take a shower. The scene cuts to the shower, where Linlin is washing up. Her friend pops up out of nowhere, remarking how nice the new dorm is for having its own bathroom, and invites her to shower together. The black-haired girl is completely stunned by her friend's sudden appearance. The blonde then starts teasing her friend, saying she's pretty small in certain places. Annoyed by the joke, Linlin tells her friend to get out of the bathroom right now. A little later, she gets out of the shower. Her friend lets her know that her phone has been blowing up, and it's probably Li Qiang. And on her phone, we see a bunch of messages from this rando asking why she isn't replying. The blonde confirms it's Li Qiang, recalls that he was into Shen Yu before, and says Linlin is better off liking Jo Yeon. Surprised by the comment, Linlin asks how her friend knows Jo Yeon and how he already has so much money. The blonde friend asks if she's interested but mentions that Soo King also likes him, to which Linlin replies that she's just curious. Then, the girl reveals that Jo Yeon made 30,000 just from the campus cards, leaving her friend shocked by the amount. But she corrects herself, saying that he's the general agent and probably actually made around 150,000. This gets Linlin thinking, wondering how his brain even works to make that much cash. Just then, another roommate shows up and asks what they're talking about, and the blonde says it's about boyfriends. The newcomer is taken aback by the sudden topic. Embarrassed, she says she thinks Jo Yeon is a pretty good fit, and the other agrees, imagining a $40,000 allowance. A moment later, the blonde has a light bulb moment and asks if Soo King doesn't also have a thing for Jo Yeon. The girl suggests Jo Yeon should be her friend's boyfriend, but Soo King tells her not to say silly things. Out of nowhere, the MC's ex-wife appears and asks what they're talking about, which totally spooks Soo Chung. The girl gets super awkward and quickly replies that it was nothing important. but our hero's ex-wife keeps looking at them suspiciously. She then says she's going to the bathroom first. But the ex-wife says she heard everything and knows her friend thinks Jo Yoon would make a good boyfriend. Soo-ching freezes. Soo-ching gets nervous but ends up confessing to the ex-wife that she has also fallen for him. She then says she knows the other girl likes Jo Yoon too and proposes a fair competition between them. The ex-wife cuts her off, saying confidently that Jo Yoon would never choose her. Soo-ching insists she wants to try anyway, and the other girl just tells her to do whatever she wants and walks off. The ex-wife thinks to herself that a simple friendship over a song isn't enough to make Jo Yoon fall in love. Back in the dorm, the blonde girl claims that Jo Yoon touched her, but another roommate doesn't believe it, saying he's a gentleman. This annoys the blonde girl, who tells them to just watch her steal Jo Yoon for herself. Later, lying in bed, she complains that the pickup lines from guys on her phone are super boring and uncreative. Meanwhile, Soo-ching is also on her phone, looking nervous about what to write. She starts typing a message but then deletes the whole thing. We then see that she had already sent a few messages about music but got no reply. She worries, wondering if he finds her annoying and won't answer her texts. Suddenly, her phone buzzes with a new notification. The girl looks down to see the message. It's Jo Yoon, inviting her to go to karaoke with him. The girl is left completely speechless and super flustered by our hero's unexpected invitation. She's then filled with joy, wondering if Jo Yoon really asked her out and if he might like her a little. In the chat, Soo-ching asks if it will be just the two of them, and after he confirms, she accepts. Meanwhile, Linlin messages one of the protagonist's roommates and asks for his contact info. The scene then shifts to the guy's dorm. There, our MC is on his computer, celebrating the success of the book he wrote, which is already in the top 10. A moment later, he gets a friend request from Linlin on his phone. This makes him wonder why everyone is after him today and if his charm leveled up after being reborn. He accepts the request, and the girl immediately asks to borrow 2,000, leaving him confused. She then sends a bold proposal, saying that if he lends her the money, she could be his girlfriend. Cronus practically chokes. He finds the whole situation really weird and thinks she's just trying to take advantage of him using the loan as an excuse. At 7 in the morning, the military training kicks off again, and the students are running laps on the campus track. However, this miserable training life didn't include our hero, Subai, who's watching everything from his window. He's munching on some fried chicken while calculating his profits, thinking he'll be able to buy an Audi soon. Suddenly, a hand snatches his chicken, and a female voice says that some people are really good at faking sick. Our boy then whips his head around, completely shocked by the sudden appearance. It's Jung-yin, who also ditched training. Subai asks if she followed him, but the girl just ignores him. The blonde seems very pleased with the fry she just swiped from our boy. Jung-yin threatens him, saying she'll call the instructor if he doesn't share, and he calls it extortion. She then lunges at him to grab the bucket of chicken, and he complains that she's on his leg. The girl declares that the fries are hers, but the fried chicken is his. And just like that, Jung-yin happily devours the fries, her cheeks totally stuffed. Subai just watches her in silence, completely speechless at her attitude. He puts a hand to his face, thinking she must have planned this, and she asks why he's staring at her. The girl then leans in with a mischievous smile and a very provocative look. She whispers that he'd better bring twice as much next time, or she'll tell Soo-ching that he touched her. Our protagonist gets desperate and yells that he never touched her like that. Jung-yin then accuses him of hitting on Soo-ching and Shen Yu, and also getting involved with Lu-lin. Suspicious, the girl says she doesn't believe him one bit. She seems to have a great idea and gets a look of surprise. She then asks if he's trying to win over all the girls in her dorm. Subai explains that Lu-lin was the one who asked for money, and that he doesn't know about her problems. Jung-yin questions why he let the girl get away, and he says he's not a player. Our hero thinks about warning his friend about Lu-lin, while Jung-yin just laughs at the whole situation. She then starts blackmailing him, demanding chicken wings for that night. Unexpectedly, the girl pulls out 200 yuan and says she'll treat him to a meal. Subai is confused and asks why she's been eating so much lately. The young woman then hands him the money, saying the extra is for her roommates. With a smile, she says they're all sisters and asks him to buy the food since he's got the hookup. Watching the scene, our hero thinks that, in the end, the girl is actually pretty cute. And so, Jung-yin heads back to the dorm, all happy with a bag of fried chicken in her hands. In the dorm, Jung-yin's roommates are shocked to see the fried chicken and burgers. Then Jung-yin shushes them and whispers that Subai was the one who secretly sent the food. One of the girls is surprised and asks, since when the two of them became so close. But the blonde jokes that he only helped because of a certain fairy in their dorm. Soo-ching then becomes convinced it was because of her, and Jung-yin agrees just so they can eat already. Outside, a student passing by in the hallway overhears their conversation. He hears the noise and sniffs the smell of fried chicken coming from the room. So, the guy with glasses decides he's gonna report them for receiving special treatment. Meanwhile, in the men's dorm, Changhao and another friend are eating the leftover burgers. Our protagonist complains that Jung-yin didn't think about them and took almost all the food. Suddenly, a roommate comes running in with some bad news on his phone. He tells them that Jung-yin's dorm got reported and the instructor is punishing all of them. In the courtyard, the furious instructor demands to know how that food got into the dorm. Jung-yin then takes all the blame and asks to be punished alone to protect her friends. However, the instructor ignores her and points to Soo-ching, ordering her to tell the truth. Soo-ching stays silent and looks like she's about to confess everything to the instructor. But then our hero shows up and takes the blame, saying he was the one who gave them the food. The instructor then looks at Subai suspiciously and asks if it was really him. Our protagonist confirms with a serious look that he was responsible for everything. He explains that he did it because he likes a girl who lives in that dorm. With this unexpected confession, all the girls from the dorm are completely shocked. The instructor then demands to know which of the girls he's talking about right now. Subai looks in Suqing's direction, who is surprised by his gaze, blushes and smiles, convinced that our hero is talking about her. Our boy then points his finger and says it's her, to everyone's surprise. Later in an office, the instructor tries to find out the truth, but Subai says it's a secret. However, our hero points at Jung Yin, leaving her completely confused and shocked. The instructor then turns to the girl and asks if what Subai said is true. Playing along with the lie, she confirms it and says she asked her boyfriend for food because she was hungry. Seeing the scene, Chang'ao cries in a corner, lamenting that he didn't confess his feelings first. The instructor then orders the two of them to follow him to the administration office and threatens them with punishment. Our hero accepts the punishment, but Jung Yin is furious and punches him on the shoulder. The other girls from the dorm watch worriedly, and one of them decides to contact the counselor. In the dean's office, the instructor demands a severe punishment for the two students. The dean agrees with a dark aura, saying they indeed must be punished. Suddenly, he becomes all flushed and excited, leaving everyone in the room completely shocked. The man then starts to praise the instructor, saying he's a role model. Next, he dismisses the instructor and says he'll handle the rest of the problem himself. After he leaves, the dean turns to the two of them with a curious look. He then asks Subai if the girl is really his girlfriend, and he awkwardly confirms it. The dean asks Jung Yin the same question, and she just lets out a nervous chuckle. The dean says they make a cute couple, and Jung Yin thanks him, all embarrassed. Then he explains that even though bringing in food is forbidden, he's gonna cut them some slack. Will just be a 2,000-word essay from each of them, to be handed to him. Jung Yin despairs at the word count, but our hero thanks the dean. She then begs Subai for help, who tells her to dream on, as he'll be writing all 4,000 words. The dean gets annoyed with their little scene, and kicks them out of his office immediately. Once outside, our boy tells her to let the instructor know they got a warning. The girl then questions if he thought about the consequences of taking the blame for her. She stops him suddenly and stares at him up close, asking something very serious. With a huge smile on her face, Jung Yun asks if he wants to be her boyfriend for real. Our protagonist is left completely in shock by the girl's unexpected proposal. She then grabs him tightly and pulls him in for a real kiss, leaving him completely speechless with her sudden and bold move. After that, the blonde pulls away and says he doesn't need to walk her back. And so, Subai is left standing there, all red and touching his face, still processing everything. As she walks away, Jung Yun blows him a kiss and says it's payment for defending her. The next day, after the military training ends, the afternoon settles over the campus. Jung Yun calls Subai furious, asking why he's been avoiding her after everything. But she quickly changes her tone and asks for a Coke, saying she misses him. She then hangs up the phone with a goofy, lovesick smile on her face. Suddenly, she jumps when she sees someone standing right behind her. It's Suqing, who confronts her, saying she heard the whole phone conversation. The ex wonders what's so special about Subai and warns her that he won't like her. The blonde then defends herself, saying maybe he's into her type and shows off her curves. At that, Momio also appears in the room, surprising both girls. She then announces that she's going to compete with them for Subai's love, leaving everyone shocked. Right after, Jung Yin's phone rings and she answers, saying she's coming down now. All excited, she says she's going to get the Coke that Subai bought and skips out of the room. Meanwhile, Suqing is left standing there, wondering if our hero really likes her. Outside the building, our boy is waiting as Jung Yin runs to meet him. Our hero hands the Coke to Jung Yin and reminds her to pay him the 3 yuan. From a distance, her roommates watch the scene from their dorm window. Suddenly, the girl hugs him tightly, startling our protagonist. She then asks him out, but Subai says he's meeting someone. He then points ahead, saying the person has arrived, leaving Jung Yin surprised. And who shows up is Lu Lin, the girl who had borrowed money from him before. At night, our hero runs into a girl and offers her a $2,000 loan to help her out. The girl takes the money but then declares that from now on, she's our MC's girlfriend. Our guy then jokes that if she gets bored, she can always hit him up, but the girl is not having any of it. He then asks if a fella named Li Qiang didn't want to lend her money too. The young woman explains that the other guy is also going through a tough time, so she just told him she liked our hero instead. Hearing this, he complains that he's just being used as an excuse, but the girl retorts that she wouldn't just pick anybody. We see a presentation on a stage, kicking off the start of military training. At that moment, the red-haired friend asks our MC who he's into, but our guy says they're all just friends. Suddenly, 2 mysterious hands grab the redhead from behind, scaring the daylights out of him. The other roommates show up to mess with him, and our guy asks what they're doing. His friends then hoist him into the air for a laugh, while our hero just watches the scene unfold. The host announces the next performance, a partner dance called Troublemaker. The crowd goes absolutely wild at the news, with everyone waving their glow sticks excitedly. 2 stunning girls appear on stage, and the audience is floored by their beauty. The guys in the crowd start screaming, calling them goddesses as they begin a pretty bold dance routine. The 2 girls continue their sensual performance on stage, much to the delight of every dude in the place. The audience goes nuts, demanding an encore and shouting that the 2 are so gorgeous they should just get together. Backstage, a group of fans tries to get their contact info, but the blonde girl says she already has a boyfriend. Her black-haired friend asks about the flowers she received, but the girl just brushes them off as useless. The brunette then says her goodbyes, mentioning she's heading to the dorm to change, cause she's feeling cold. Now alone, the blonde girl calls out for Jo Ewan and asks if he's ready, and the guy confirms he is. The girl gets annoyed because he didn't even bother to watch the dance she worked so hard on. She walks up to him and another young woman, asking what they were talking about, but our hero just questions her back. The blonde asks suspiciously if they really weren't talking about anything important. The other girl gets super nervous and flustered, denying it in a very suspicious way. We see that a week ago, she offered our MC some homemade cookies. Our hero thanked her for the gift, and she invited him to sing with her at the school's gala. With a smile, our guy accepted the invitation, saying that such a sincere gift deserved a wise. Back in the present, the blonde asks again if he watched her dance, and he compliments the performance. Our protagonist looks thoughtful, as if he's carefully choosing the right words for a compliment. Our hero then compliments her dance in a strange way, saying she looked pretty pale up there. The blonde girl laughs at the odd compliment, and our protagonist takes the chance to ask the other girl to leave them alone. As soon as her friend is gone, the blonde asks if he liked the dance, and our hero admits he did. She then leans in with a smile and offers to show him something different on her phone. Our protagonist gets curious about the offer and asks what she means by that. On the phone screen, he sees a video of the performance the two girls did just moments before. The girl puts an earbud in his ear and says that this part of the dance was exclusively for him. The video shows a part of the choreography with moves that were even more daring than the ones on stage. She tells him to notice how sexy she is, but our guy can only think about the money he lent her. Afterwards, the blonde complains that he didn't watch it properly and says she showed the dance to someone she likes. Our hero jokes that he didn't see enough and wants to watch it again, and she calls him shameless. Far away, at the edge of the courtyard, the red-haired friend seems to be having some sort of problem. His buddy complains that because of the pain he missed the dance, and the redhead looks pretty ticked off. Just then, some other guys start talking about the dancers, and the redhead overhears one of them mention the blonde girl. He then butts into the conversation, says the other girl's name, and they ask who he is. With a smug look, the redhead claims to be the boyfriend of the girl in the white dress they were talking about. At that, one of the guys mentions that her boyfriend is over there talking with some other dudes, leaving the redhead confused. The friend then looks out at the crowd and is shocked by the scene he sees in the distance. The blonde girl is sitting right next to our protagonist, looking completely smitten. Seeing this, the red-haired friend is completely frozen, unable to believe his eyes. He collapses to the ground in tears, screaming the girl's name, while his friend tries to comfort him in his moment of sorrow. In the middle of the confusion, a girl in a red dress appears and asks if our hero is going to sing with Shen Yu. The blonde girl is surprised and asks Jo Ewan why he didn't tell her, and he replies that she never asked. Furious, she complains that he should have taken the initiative to tell her himself. He asks why he should have, and the girl declares herself his girlfriend, hugging him tightly. Our protagonist questions if he ever agreed to that, but the girl argues back as Su-Qing gets annoyed in the background. The blonde then complains that Shen Yu acts all nice but planned everything, which startles our hero. Suddenly, Su-Qing says she has already decided to give up on him, leaving the other two completely shocked. The blonde girl is thrilled and says that if everyone gives up, our protagonist will be all hers. Seeing the situation, Jo Ewan says his turn to sing is coming up, and that he's going to get ready. As he walks away, the girl in red thinks to herself that his calm demeanor seems like just an act. The blonde says they can't let their guard down, but Su-Qing reaffirms that she has already given up on the guy. Her friend doesn't believe her and accuses her of wanting to have a secret romance with our MC. Su-Qing advises her to clear things up with Chang Hao if she really likes Jo Ewan. The girl admits she likes him but is afraid of being rejected and losing face with everyone. Finally, the girl in red says that to truly love someone means not caring about that, and that she might regret it. With a smile, the blonde girl compliments Su-Qing on her way with words, making her all flustered. Su-Qing then playfully shoves her friend away in a cute attempt to escape the conversation. On stage, the host announces the next act to a duet called Because of Love. The two girls are shocked to see our hero on stage with Shen Yu, and the audience is already commenting on what a beautiful couple they make. The two then begin to sing a romantic song, showing incredible chemistry between them. The performance continues, and the chemistry between the two on stage makes everything feel even more special and beautiful. This sends the audience into a frenzy over all the romance, and everyone gets super emotional watching the scene. The crowd then starts chanting in unison, begging for the two to kiss right there on stage. Seeing all of this, the blonde girl becomes absolutely furious, and her anger meter explodes with jealousy. Far from the stage, a guy compliments the female singer, and Chang Hao mentions that she's his girlfriend's roommate. The guy then asks if Jo Ewan is her boyfriend, but his friend says he's just her singing partner. The friend watches the two singers' performance on stage very suspiciously. Suddenly, they see the blonde girl walking up to the stage, and one friend already dreads what might happen next. Once on stage, the girl hands over the flowers and congratulates Shen Yu on her performance with a sarcastic tone. Finally, she turns to our protagonist and asks when he's going to sing a song with her. Our protagonist replies that maybe they'll sing together if they get a chance. The blonde accuses him of liking to have all the girls around him, and he defends himself by mentioning the cookies. With a confused look, our hero doesn't understand her reaction as she says she's not going to let this slide. She suddenly grabs him by the shirt collar, leaving our protagonist completely in shock. And without a second thought, the girl gives him a kiss in front of everyone. The audience goes wild at the sight and immediately starts speculating about the love triangle. Meanwhile, the red-haired friend is stunned and yells Yan Yan's name, not believing what he's seeing. Heartbroken, he cries on his friend's shoulder, who tries to console him during this tough time. The night continues peacefully at the event venue, with the spotlights still shining in the sky. Our hero complains about her stunt, but Yan Yan says that was their first kiss. Shen Yu is devastated and wonders why things had to end up this way. The crowd starts to judge Shen Yu for singing with a guy who already had a girlfriend. A few people approach the supposed new couple and ask if they are really together. Yan Yan confirms with a smile on her face, hugging our hero to prove her point. To top it off, she invites Shen Yu to take a picture with them, which really irritates her. Yan Yan explains that she just lent her boyfriend to her friend for the song and asks people not to spread rumors. Our protagonist is confused because he doesn't want to hurt either of the girls in this situation. Seeing the mess, Shen Yu says she doesn't feel well and decides to leave to get away from it all. She then turns around and starts to walk away, looking very sad. But suddenly, the blonde girl stops her, grabbing her arm tightly so she can't escape. Yan Yan reminds her of their old deal and says that this time the big win was hers. Shen Yu thinks to herself that kissing a guy with no strings attached is nothing to be proud of. She then ignores her friend and continues on her way with a look of complete disdain. Yan Yan just watches her friend walk away, seeming very thoughtful about the whole situation. In the end, she decides that since she started this, she's going to fight for our hero until the very end, without giving up. So, the military training event wraps up, and everyone's pretty bummed that it's over. The blonde then asks Zhou Yuan who he likes the most, and he says it's Shen Yu, which totally catches her off guard. She calls him a liar for agreeing to be her boyfriend, but he explains he only did it to save her from embarrassment. Hearing this, the girl is suddenly over the moon, thinking that deep down, he must care about her at least a little. She claims she didn't mean to kiss him and was just going for a hug, but got carried away, leaving Zhou Yuan feeling like he'd been played by her impulse. Elsewhere on campus, a group of students is listening to a girl playing guitar on the lawn. Our protagonist is walking with the blonde when Chen Wan runs into them and asks if he's out for a stroll with his girlfriend. Zhou Yuan then introduces them. This is Zheng Yan Yan, and the other is Chen Wan, the vice president of the student council. Chen Wan asks him to play a song for them since he sings so well, and his girlfriend loves the idea. The crowd that was nearby overhears the conversation and also starts begging our hero to play a song. Peer pressured by the whole crowd, Zhou Yuan borrows the guitar and starts strumming a few notes to get ready. From there, he launches into a romantic song for everyone gathered on the university lawn. The girls are captivated by his voice, whispering about how amazing it must be to be the girlfriend of a guy like that. Seeing Zheng Yanyan blushing like crazy, Chen Wan asks if she likes her boyfriend even more now, and she eagerly agrees. Performance ends, and the blonde is left wondering if Zhou Yuan sang the entire song looking only at her. Introduces herself as Tao Tian, the head of the arts department, and invites Zhou Yuan to join her department. Our protagonist recognizes her as a big shot on campus but thinks it's best to keep his distance because she's a little too energetic for his taste. Seeing this, the blonde is impressed by his ability to handle any situation and always come out on top. Tao Tian then gives Zhou Yuan her number and tells him to call her when he has an answer about the invitation. Afterward, he teases Zheng Yanyan, asking if she's getting jealous, but the girl denies it, all flustered. She then asks if she was the first one to hear him play, and he confirms that yes, she was, at least in this timeline. With that answer, the girl suddenly stops walking, leaving our protagonist a bit confused by her reaction. She then turns around with a serious look and asks if they can be a real couple, completely surprising the guy. Zhou Yuan is shocked by the girl's sudden declaration, as he definitely wasn't expecting that right then. Seeing his reaction, Zheng Yanyan doubles down on her request, saying she's being completely serious about their relationship. The guy seems to be considering her proposal, but suddenly, Yan Yan is startled by a swift move from Zhou. In the blink of an eye, Zhou Yuan pins her against a wall, leaving the girl utterly speechless. He asks what the benefits of being her boyfriend would be, making the girl even more nervous. Totally flustered, she starts stammering that they could go out to eat and watch movies together. She adds that he could kiss her, and the guy asks if those benefits would disappear if he didn't accept her offer. The girl vehemently denies it, saying, "Of course not," completely shocked by his boldness. Our protagonist teases her, saying a man's patience has its limits and she shouldn't mess with him. Without giving her time to respond, he kisses her out of nowhere, leaving the girl frozen on the spot. The kiss continues, and the girl, who was startled at first, now seems to be melting into the romantic moment with him. With that, Yin Yan turns completely red and feels hot with embarrassment from Zhou Yuan's unexpected move. He thinks to himself that in his past life, she chased him for 4 years, and now, he's won her over so easily. After the kiss, he pulls back a little to catch his breath, leaving the girl confused and not knowing what to think. The guy teases her, saying that since she kept asking if it was soft, he just let her try it for herself to be sure. The girl is furious at his cheeky comment and glares at him with a look of pure anger and embarrassment. Suddenly, she bites him and Zhou Yuan yelps, asking if she's a puppy or something, just biting people like that. She asks if they're together now, and he confirms it, making the girl want to post the news immediately. Holding hands, he thinks it's a bit unfair to the other guy, but he's also starting to like her a little now. The scene cuts to 1 hour earlier, showing Su King on a balcony, taking a drag from a cigarette. Su King is talking to another girl, saying that Jung Yan Yan has the kind of personality that doesn't value things she gets too easily. She advises her friend to switch targets because she knows Jo Yuan well and knows he can't resist a direct approach. The friend then questions her, saying that the way Su King talks, it sounds like she's the one chasing after him. She replies that it's different, because what she has with Jo Yuan is destiny, and that her friend wouldn't have a future with him. The girl mentions that Jung Yan Yan kissed the guy and asks if Su King isn't mad, but she calmly denies it. In her thoughts, the ex-wife says there's no reason for anger because she was clearly the first one in his life. Even so, she remembers the scene of the kiss with an image of herself in the background, watching from afar. Su King says her friend doesn't understand the pain of seeing your husband with someone else, which is why a simple kiss doesn't bother her. Her friend is confused by the word husband, since they're just freshmen, but Su King tells her not to overthink it. With that, she advises the girl to give up on Jo Yuan and focus on her studies and herself for now. The friend reflects that Jo Yuan prefers the intensity of a rose, while she is like a magnolia, growing quietly. Arrives, and we see Su King's friend lying in her dorm bed, unable to sleep. She's looking at Jung Yan Yan's post, a photo of her and Jo Yuan holding hands with a romantic caption. Seeing that, the girl gets really sad and thinks that the world can really be a bummer sometimes. The scene changes to the National Day holiday, and our protagonist is walking towards a large commercial building. He thinks about how he remembered some stocks from his past life, quickly made $2.5 million, and now wants a car and a house. Right after, we see a gleaming white BMW showcasing our hero's new, luxurious purchase. The protagonist's new car is a white BMW convertible with a very chic and elegant leather interior. Joan checks out his new purchase and thinks the car is perfect for cruising around and having a good time. An older saleswoman tells a rookie to handle the guy, looking down on him and thinking he's just window shopping. The young woman, named Wang Mengna, introduces herself, but our protagonist cuts her off and asks for the final price of the car. She notices that despite his simple clothes, his aura is very confident, and he doesn't seem like someone who's faking it. He then asks for a test drive, and the saleswoman immediately agrees, going to get the keys. After driving it for a bit, Jo Yuan likes the car and announces he'll pay the full amount in cash right now. Wang Mengna is totally shocked by the news and asks if she heard him correctly about paying in full. At this, she becomes overjoyed and says she'll prioritize the paperwork for him, while the other manager is left dumbfounded. The card machine beeps, confirming the massive transaction was a success, and the car is now his. The saleswoman hands him the contract and the keys, offering to be his exclusive 24-hour salesperson. Our protagonist compliments her for being sharp and gets into his new car, ready to leave. The manager who snubbed him is left looking like a total fool, bitterly regretting misjudging the kid. Inside the car now is a brochure for an apartment, showing what our hero's next goal is. With the car taken care of, Jo-won holds the pamphlet and smiles, thinking the next stop is a new house. Our protagonist drives off in his new car, thinking it's time for a certain feisty kitten to see his new ride. And so he takes Jung Yan Yan to a man, made lake at night, for a very romantic drive in his new car. The girl seizes the moment and takes a selfie with him, saying she needs to document this historic moment for everyone to see. Jo Yuan agrees with the post, as it saves him the trouble of telling everyone about their relationship one by one. With that, the photo goes up on social media and gets comments from Su King and others who are surprised to see them as a couple. After the drive, he invites her to see his new place, leaving the girl shocked that he already owns property. She turns down the invitation, saying she has to get back to the university because a good student doesn't stay out all night. However, the girl gives him a surprise kiss, saying she can give him a little down payment on his proposal. Jo Yuan is taken aback by her move and thinks that line should have been his, not hers. Seeing the girl's boldness, our protagonist decides that if that's how she wants to play, he won't be so polite either. From there, he pushes her back and kisses her with much more intensity, completely flipping the script. The blonde gets all flustered by the situation and asks him to stop, but she seems to be enjoying his forwardness. In her thoughts, she wonders where he suddenly learns such powerful and captivating techniques. Jo Yuan continues the intimate moment with several kisses on her neck, leaving the girl completely lost in the moment. But suddenly, the girl shoves him with all her strength, desperately telling him to stop right now. The girl says she's tired and wants to go back, so Jo Yuan agrees but is frustrated at being cut short. After that, our protagonist goes to his new luxury apartment to finally get some rest by himself. He thinks that with the house and car sorted, the next step is to start a company to secure his future. Just then, a message from a girl named Lu Lin pops up on his phone, asking if he's around. Our hero finds the message odd and wonders if she's reaching out because she needs money. In the chat, she says she saw his photo and that their deal isn't over yet, asking if he has time. Suddenly, the doorbell to his apartment rings, leaving our protagonist a bit surprised by the visitor. When he opens the door, he finds Lu Lin standing there with a very serious expression and her arms crossed. Jo Yuan is shocked to see her at his new place and asks, "Are you for real?" And the girl just nods. So, he invites her in and asks if she came all this way because she's short on cash for something. Lu Lin gets closer and says she just wants 4,000 and that keeping her is way easier than keeping Jung Yan Yan. The girl's bold and unexpected proposal leaves our protagonist completely speechless. The scene quickly cuts, showing a small potted plant on a side table in the living room. Lu Lin appears in lingerie on his bed, saying she's ready and asking what she needs to do. Jo Yuan is confused by her question, and the girl gives him a light kick, seeming impatient with his hesitation. With a swift move, Jo Yuan grabs Lu Lin by the leg. The girl is surprised, and our protagonist tells her to just relax and leave everything to him. Faced with the situation, Lu Lin turns completely red, not knowing how to react. Meanwhile, Jo Yuan thinks that the girl's intensity has a unique flavor to it. He leans in close to her ear and says that, according to the internet, the first time can be pretty intense. From there, things between them really start to heat up, and their night together begins. Noticing she's nervous, our protagonist takes her hand and tells her to just relax. Su King then says she feels weird, like she's about to melt in his arms. Right after that, Jo Yuan pulls her in closer and tells her to just enjoy the moment. And just like that, the two of them finally spend their first intimate night together. Judging by the look on her face, it was a pretty intense night for the two of them. Su King sits up in bed. With her face all flushed, she starts to remember everything that happened last night. A few flashbacks of the night's best moments start running through her mind. Just then, Jo Yuan wraps his arms around her from behind and asks where she thinks she's going. Our protagonist whispers in her ear, asking what she would do if he asked her to stay. Su King replies that if he needs anything, he just has to ask since she's not his girlfriend anymore. A mischievous grin, Jo Yuan asks her straight up if she's jealous. He then teases her, saying her jealousy needs to be cured, and asks if he can be the one to help. And just like that, they start kissing again, making for a much more eventful morning. Go by, and we see a group of girls rehearsing on an auditorium stage. A blonde woman is complaining, annoyed that some girl named Zheng Yan is missing the gala rehearsal. Just then, Zheng Yan shows up, apologizing and saying she was picking up her boyfriend from Macau. And her boyfriend is none other than our protagonist, who gives a wave to the upperclassmen. The blonde girl warns her that skipping rehearsal will result in a punishment. But Zheng Yan doesn't seem to care one bit about the scolding and just makes a face. Jo Yuan steps into the conversation and says he has some gigs for the girls in the department. Hearing this offer, the upperclassman accepts on the spot, and the two of them exchange contact info. Right after, the blonde checks out Jo Yuan's profile and sees a bunch of photos of him flexing in Macau. Because of this, she figures he's some rich young master and feels bummed that he's already taken. In the department's group chat, the upperclassman announces that Jo Yuan can hook them up with part-time jobs. As soon as rehearsal is over, the other girls watch the couple from a distance. Zheng Yan bugs our protagonist about the new house and says she wants to bring her friends over to see it. The guy is a little confused by his girlfriend's sudden change of heart. When they get there, all of them are blown away by how beautiful and luxurious the entrance to the complex is. One of the friends mentions that each unit there will eventually be worth 6 million. At the same time, a random couple walks by, and the woman dreams about living in a place like that. The dark-haired friend gets all excited, wondering if the house was bought for her. When they step inside the apartment, their jaws drop at how gigantic the place is. Zheng Yan is surprised to find out the apartment even has a private gym. A moment later, she's even more impressed by the huge rooftop balcony. Completely in love with the place, she declares that she wants to live there with him. Our protagonist then gets everyone's attention and says he brought gifts back from Macau. Zheng Yan tells her friends not to be shy and to take advantage of his generosity. Wife doesn't seem very impressed by a simple cosmetic. Zheng Yan offers 2 cosmetic products to Lin Lin, but the girl turns them down, saying she doesn't wear makeup. Right after, she says her goodbyes, explaining that she has other things to do and needs to leave. Another friend decides to take off too, leaving Zheng Yan confused as to why everyone is leaving. The girl thanks them for the gifts, and our protagonist replies with a saying about the new rich not forgetting their old friends. Zheng Yan then invites her friend to visit anytime, and Jo Yuan awkwardly agrees. Meanwhile, Su King thinks that all of this was once their dream, but he continues to ignore her. She breaks the mood and says she needs to talk to our protagonist alone. Zheng Yan gets annoyed at her audacity and reminds her that she's the lady of the house. Jo Yuan cuts the conversation short, saying there's nothing to discuss and that he doesn't want her to get the wrong idea. After everyone has left, Zheng Yan relaxes on the couch, smiling as she scrolls through her phone. Our protagonist sits down next to her and just stares until she asks what he's looking at. With a seductive look, he leans in closer, and the girl gets flustered, not knowing what to do. He then whispers something in her ear, and the mood between them instantly heats up. Faced with the situation, he pushes her down onto the couch, and the two of them start kissing intensely. And so, the couple seizes their moment alone to make up for lost time. The girl completely gives into the moment, but just as things are getting good, the mood is suddenly broken. Out of nowhere, Zheng Yan shoves our protagonist away and tells him to stop everything, right now. She then explains that she's just not ready for that yet and asks him to wait for 3 months. Jo Yuan is completely surprised by her request and asks if she's being serious. She says yes. 1 week before the freshman ball, our hero is at rehearsal when Taeyeon, a senior, comes up to him to chat. She then suggests they find a more private spot to talk, and our guy agrees in a heartbeat. Seeing this from a distance, his friend Chang Kao gets super jealous and comments on how popular Jo Yuan is with the girls. Once they're alone, Taeyeon asks if he knows of any good paying part-time jobs, but our protagonist has a better idea. He says that with her figure, it'd be easy for her to become a model, and the girl agrees with the suggestion, even striking a pose. Afterwards, she invites him to a dinner for the art department as a thank you for the jobs he hooked the girls up with. Suddenly, his girlfriend Jungyan shows up, hugging him from behind and asking why he left the rehearsal. Taein sees his girlfriend and just reminds him not to be late for dinner, and Jungyan thanks her and confirms they'll be there. Later that night, the dinner is already underway at a really fancy place with plenty of drinks on the table. A guy approaches Linlin and asks her to sing a song with him. She says no, but Jungyan encourages her to go with the handsome guy. Our protagonist watches the whole thing from a distance with a very serious look on his face, clearly not liking what he sees. Linlin notices his stare and wonders if he's getting jealous of the other guy getting close to her. Our hero asks who the guy is, and Taein explains that his name is Chen Jiming, and he's a senior. She tells him not to worry, because his girlfriend isn't the guy's target, which makes our guy feel a bit more relieved. So our hero jokes that if his girlfriend gets stolen away, he'll come after her, which makes Taein laugh at his boldness. Taein finds our guy interesting and seems to be cooking up an idea in her head. Meanwhile, on stage, Linlin says she doesn't know how to sing the song Chen Jiming picked. Seeing the situation, our hero grabs a mic and offers to sing a duet with her. Just like that, he starts singing the song with an incredible voice, surprising everyone there. Linlin is completely shocked and blushing from our protagonist's unexpected move. And it's not just her, the other girls are also swooning over how well our guy can sing. With that, poor Chen Jiming is totally upstaged by our hero's performance. Linlin finally joins the duet and starts singing her part with a beautiful smile. She seems very happy with how the performance turned out, as if she was expecting it all along. From the audience, the girls comment on what a great pair they make together on stage. But Jungyan does not like this one bit and yells out that Jo-yeon is her boyfriend. Her friends are confused because her boyfriend is singing with someone else, and they realize he was the one who got them the jobs. After the song, Taein compliments him on his Cantonese, and he says he just liked the music. However, the other girls now swarm him, wanting his contact info and even a picture with his car. Seeing this, Jungyan steps in front of him and tells the other girls not to even think about crossing her line of defense. Taein then teases the girls, saying they should have added our hero on the down low. The friends get all awkward at the comment, while Jungyan yells that no one is allowed to add her boyfriend. Because of this, Jungyan complains that the senior is taking their side and teasing her too. Far from all the chaos, we see Linlin alone on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. Suddenly, she seems startled by something happening right then and there. Our protagonist finds her, and she asks why he isn't keeping his girlfriend company. The girl then lights a cigarette, looking very thoughtful, and our hero just watches her in silence. Unexpectedly, our guy snatches the cigarette from her hand, leaving her completely surprised by his action. And right after, he pulls her close to him in a very sudden and bold move. Without wasting any time, our hero kisses her right then and there, leaving the girl completely stunned. She was defenseless, and he just got carried away by the emotion of the moment. After the kiss, the two pull back a little, still out of breath, and with their faces bright red. Our protagonist warns her that if she doesn't go back soon, Jungyan will come looking for her. However, Linlin gets confused when he tells her to let him know when she gets a boyfriend. She then asks if he's jealous and says she could be his woman forever if he has the money. Our hero then questions her, asking if money is the only thing that attracts her, and she sort of denies it. Linlin says she's also drawn to his strength as she puts the cigarette out on the guy's chest, but our protagonist grabs her wrist firmly, stopping the girl's action. He pulls her closer, and the two stare intensely at each other in that tense moment. But suddenly, Jungyan's voice echoes down the hall, calling for our hero. This startles them both, and they get super awkward for being busted. Jungyan finds them, and Linlin makes up an excuse that he was just lighting a cigarette for her. Our protagonist then says Taein is looking for her, and Jungyan tells him to go on ahead. And so Linlin is left standing there confused. Our hero walks away, worried, and starts to wonder if his girlfriend found something out. Alone, Jungyan confronts Linlin about the duet with Jo-yeon, and the other girl asks if there's a problem. His girlfriend gets all flustered and makes an excuse, saying she just wanted to liven up the party. Linlin then cuts her off and tells her to ask Soo-ching what happened between her and Jo-yeon. With that said, she turns and walks away, leaving Jungyan behind trying to explain herself. Jungyan is left alone, wondering what Soo-ching has to do with anything and if she's being too jealous. However, Jungyan asks herself why she feels so uncomfortable seeing her boyfriend with other girls. Meanwhile, our hero offers a job to Taein, who gets super excited about the proposal. But Jungyan interrupts them, saying she doesn't feel well and wants to leave the dinner. Taein watches them leave, thinking that relationships that show off too much tend to end quickly. The scene cuts to a flashback where Jungyan asks if our hero will love her forever, and he says yes. She then kisses him and says she wants the whole world to know they're a couple. Elsewhere, Soo-ching is watering her plants with a sour look on her face, seeming really annoyed about something. But what's actually happening is she ended up watering the people passing by. Back in the dorm room, Jungyan asks where Lu-lin is, since she hadn't come back yet. Soo-king explains that she went to an internet cafe and is going to spend the night there. Suddenly, Jungyan explodes and accuses Soo-king of trying to stir up trouble between her and Lu-lin. But the ex-wife replies that their friendship is so weak it doesn't need her help to fall apart. Jungyan demands to know what she told her friend, but Soo-ching refuses to say. Seeing the fight, the other roommate makes up an excuse and quietly slips out of the room. Then, Soo-king reveals that she and Jo-yeon used to be together and that she decorated his house. Jungyan doesn't believe it and yells that it's impossible because our hero is her boyfriend now, and she demands proof. Soo-king taunts her, asking who she thinks taught him all the tricks that make our guy so skilled. Furious, Jungyan tells her to shut up, but the ex-wife keeps going, saying she was the one who taught him everything. The fight gets ugly, and Jung Yan lunges at her with everything she's got, while the ex-wife calls her a crazy psycho. They get into a tangle, pulling each other's hair while the other roommate just watches the chaos. The friend then tries to break them up, asking Jung Yan to calm down, but she's still furious. Soo Kyung doesn't stop and says she can share even more details about the time she spent with our hero. Jung Yan calls her an unwanted leftover, but the ex fires back that she was the first, and Jung Yan is number 3 in the story. The friend tries to calm things down, but Jung Yan is livid over what she's heard about her boyfriend. The roommate then tells Soo Kyung to just forget it since it's in the past, but the ex-wife says it's not that easy. We see a flashback of her with our hero, promising to love each other forever as they watch the sunset. Back in the present, Soo Kyung looks really shaken and says she just can't accept the situation. The scene then cuts back to 30 minutes earlier, with our hero arriving at an apartment building. He finds Lulin waiting for him and asks why she's there, but the girl just questions him back. Our hero then pins her against the wall, calling her a sheep in the tiger's den, but she says it's not quite like that. With a sly smile, our hero gets closer to Lulin and suggests they play a different kind of game tonight. The next morning, we see our protagonist's car driving near the school snack street. Inside the car, he offers Lulin some money, but she refuses, saying she's already paid her debt. But our guy insists she take it because part-time jobs aren't for her. The young woman then comments that he's acting like one of those main characters in a soap opera. He plays along and says she's his woman and can't be doing low-class jobs. With a smile, she takes 200 as an advance and says he can give her the rest next month. Our hero then compliments the girl, telling her she looks really good when she's smiling. The scene changes to a classroom where some female students see Soo Kyung walk in and find her presence odd. They gossip about how the ex-wife was chasing after Jo Yuan and wonder if he's her boyfriend. One of the girls reveals that Soo Kyung and her roommate Jung Yan even got into a huge fight last night. Changao, who is nearby, overhears the girls' gossip, and they conclude that our hero is dating both of them. Worried, he stands up immediately and asks if Jung Yan is okay after the fight. The girls find his reaction weird and comment that it's almost like he's her official boyfriend. Suddenly, our protagonist appears in the hallway and asks Soo Kyung what she's doing there. She says she needs to talk to him about something important, leaving our hero very confused. So the two of them go to a more private spot near the university sports field. The ex-wife says she needs to clear some things up with him right now, but he cuts her off. She reminds him that they both come from the same place and asks if she was his first love. Our protagonist confirms that he is Jo Yuan and that they are both from Zhuhai, just like she said. But when he's about to address the third point, he hesitates for a moment and seems to back down. In the end, he admits that she is his ex-wife, which leaves her a little surprised. She then says the chance to start over was for them to fix the regrets from their past life. Our hero is terrified by the idea of getting married again and doesn't want to fall into that trap a second time. Soo Kyung complains that everything is different and that she tried to change things, but her attempts went wrong. Our guy then scoffs at her, asking if she forgot her brain when she was reborn. He criticizes her design work, saying that trends change and she needs strategic vision. Despite his sharp tongue, our hero decides to help her because of the fate they shared in their past life. He then tells her to study hard because he'll send her to study abroad in her sophomore year. Hearing this, she starts to cry because her biggest regret was never having that chance before. Our hero says they're divorced and should follow their dreams and find happiness on their own. She then holds onto him tightly, moving closer. Soo Kyung hugs him and promises she'll become a better person, leaving our protagonist speechless. Meanwhile, Jung Yan is with Changao, complaining that our hero isn't answering his phone. When he finally answers, she angrily asks why it took him so long to call back and where he is. He says he was talking with Soo Kyung, and she tries to play it cool, saying she just missed him a little. Jung Yan convinces herself that he still cares about her, and Changao questions her for being so meek. She gets annoyed and asks who he is to tell her how to act, brushing off his help. The friend tries to explain himself, but she tells him to stop meddling in her and our hero's relationship. She then finds him near his car, and Changao tries to calm her down, but she tells him to stop following her. Our protagonist suggests they go eat first to cool off and talk things over. But Jung Yan demands that he first explain what's going on between him and Soo Kyung. He says there's nothing to explain because they knew each other before. But she's not satisfied with that. Jung Yan starts to cry and says he's her first love, which makes our hero uncomfortable. He hugs her and asks her to stop crying because it all happened a long time ago and doesn't matter anymore. Suddenly, the sound of a slap echoes through the air, making everything even more tense. With that, our protagonist just stands there, having absolutely no idea what just happened. Then, Changao shows up, furious, defending Jung Yan and telling our hero he can't bully her. But our guy gets annoyed and suggests that since his friend treats her so well, she should just date him instead. The young woman is completely shocked and speechless at our hero's absurd suggestion. With a serious look, he says that after this, they need to reconsider their relationship.